In continuing to use the search function to look for specific words throughout all 12 volumes of the Journal of Schenkerian Studies, I continue to be frustrated. I want to reiterate that if there is some kind of conspiracy, I don't think the weakness of the search function is part of that. I just think it's hard to find words in the thing. That's inconvenient to me because it makes it difficult for me to give a fair critique of the thing. Um, and so if you want to help me uh, find things that I did not find and point them out in the comment section here, and you'll be helping everybody if what you cite is accurate. You'll be helping everybody. The word in this case was prolongation, and I want to make it clear I'm not some kind of prolongation denier. I think depending on how one defines prolongation or how one uses the word prolongation, there are legitimate definitions or uses of that word. Whether those are the prevailing definitions or uses is a separate question. I confess to having used prolongational ideation in my own music compositions all the way back to high school. And I can't help but suspect that that's probably standard, some kind of prolongational conception for anyone who pursues composition academically, music composition academically. They probably have something similar to prolongation in mind. And even if they're not academic, if they wouldn't need to have heard of it for it to be an important concept. But what is it really? What is it exactly? That's the tough part here. Before I go back to the journal, I should explain that a reason why I wanted to study Schenkerian theory was to better understand prolongation. I assumed that my Schenker professor was going to either answer or try to answer all or most of my questions about prolongation, and hopefully point out where any evidence was collected or stored that supports any claims about prolongation made by Schenker or by Schenkerians. That was not what I found in my Schenker class or in subsequent delves into Schenkerian literature or conversations with other Schenkerians. What I found instead is that no one wants to state openly, even in context, whether what they're calling prolongation is something that's produced by the composer, by the performer, by the listener, or by the analyst, or wants to make any clear distinction between these four things, or even commit to two or more of them being essentially the same for some reason. It's really muddy. I found that my questions about prolongation not only were not met with answers, but were totally forbidden questions. It was heresy. So I didn't come out of the class with a more clear understanding of prolongation. It was the answers I've got in discussions about prolongation with Schenkerians were they might as well have been talking about chi, orgone, phlogiston, or ether. It seems 20 years after the fact, even more than before, like Schenkerian theory is kind of a miasma theory of musical grammar or music cognition. It really it leaves me with more questions than answers every time I look at it, and that's really not how something that purports to be analytic is supposed to work. The journal itself, I think I've basically explained the problem, that I'm using the search function to look for instances of the word prolongation like I previously did with the word genius. And I'm just not turning up I'm not turning up any clear pattern, and in most cases, at least, it's contextually or immediately unclear. It's like, I don't know, directly ambiguous what is meant by prolongation in terms of whether it is something that is intended to be understood by readers as produced by the composer, produced by the performer, produced by the listener, produced by the analyst, or produced by some conjunction or group effort between two or more of those four constructible parties. I don't know. It's a mess. Help me out here. If you're smarter than me, show me. Show me how you're smarter than me. Tell me about prolongation in the comment section.